Brett Swarts is the founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions and is our guest today on the Future of Real Estate podcast. He is also the host of the Capital Gains Tax Solution podcast, an expert CRE Secrets podcast. And Brett is best known for the Deferred Sales Trust tool, which he uses to help his high net worth clients solve capital gains tax deferral limitations. So if you are an investor and you have $1 million of capital gains tax or capital gains, and you are looking to get out of that and you don't want to pay big taxes, let's say that's in crypto or real estate or business, and you want to sell that so you can realize that equity, but you don't want to pay big taxes because who likes paying taxes? Brett is here to help. This is going to be an awesome show. I really wanted him to talk about what to do if you've made a lot of money in crypto, maybe how to get that into passive income like real estate. So really, really fun conversation. I know you're going to love this one. Let's get into the show. Brett, welcome to the show, man. What's happening?
Ellis, brother, man. I'm better than I deserve. It's another beautiful day here in the sunshine state of California.
All right. We got some good stuff to talk about. If you're investing in crypto and you've been investing in crypto for the last couple of years, it's likely that you've done well. You know, even if you started investing in crypto like I did just over a year ago, I've done well. Even though I've taken quite a bit of a hit in the last few weeks, I still think the long-term holders of crypto are going to do well. I mean, this is a new asset class. It's the utilization of crypto technology is only going up, blockchain technology. And so this is going to be a really, really fascinating show, either for you now and useful or to bookmark, because what we're talking about is how to take the biggest problem when you sell something is you have to pay taxes on and capital gains tax. And even with crypto, you know, so that can be a huge hit if you've experienced significant gains. And by the way, not just crypto, other assets too that Brett can help with. But we want to talk about crypto because I don't think there's enough content around this topic yet. So Brett, let's start here, man. Introduce yourself, brother, your specialty, and kind of who you work with. Who's your ideal client? Who's your typical client?
Yeah, so Brett Swarts, Capital Gains Tax Solutions here in Sacramento, California. Fell in love with real estate at a very young age. My mom and dad building houses in the Bay Area. It was MC Hammer days. And we had rentals and 1031s and being an entrepreneur with my parents. And so seeing all that take place, I knew I wanted to be in real estate at some point. Fast forward, went to college, had a chance to take an internship at a place called Marcus and Millichap, became a real estate agent focusing on commercial multifamily properties. Went on to sell about $100 million of that. But during the crash, everything hit the fan. And basically, we had to figure out a way to help our clients pick up the pieces from losing half or all of their wealth from these 1031 exchanges that they had too much debt on, or just feeling like they shouldn't have overpaid for it. They had to hold on and get their equity back. And so that's when we found out about something called a Deferred Sales Trust. Fast forward, I've helped people basically exit really smart, right? When they go to exit cryptocurrency, businesses, real estate. Crypto is our number one focus right now because we believe that the vision for, or the highest and best use of value for the crypto world is to be able to exit well. And case in point, 69,000 Bitcoin price dropped to like 35 over about a 2-month period. And you're going, if you could have exited high and bought back low, all tax deferred, then that changes the game. And so we figured that out. We're doing this. And now we're doing it into more real estate deals. So we're kind of combining both of those worlds. The ideal customer is anyone or client who's got $1 million gain, $1 million net proceed, who wants to be selling crypto, real estate, businesses, and wants to be investing back into deals with themselves or with partners, or maybe just retire, right? Yeah. The Deferred Sales Trust is beautiful in that it's very customizable to the client. And so, that's the people we serve. And then we also help people who are helping those people, right? So commercial real estate syndicators, operators, financial advisors, we teach them, train them how to do this so they can help their clients.
Let's go straight to a story. Okay. So give me a real life example of how this is happening, and don't get too in the weeds. Like, I just want to know like the benefit, like what a story and the benefits and what this person actually, how they put to use what you would call a DST into actually kind of a real life benefit.
Yeah, let's talk about the two crypto deals with Resources 3 now, but we'll start there. So one of them was a client. She worked for one of the big tech companies. She's in her 20s, and she's a believer in Bitcoin. In fact, that's the only coin she has, and she bought it for about $30,000 to $50,000 years ago. And it literally went up to $50 million, okay? So her gain was massive. She never sold, until she found us and she exited 5 million of that 50 at 54,000 a coin, so that she can A, defer the tax, but B, fund her dream, which was to retire from Google. Google was the one that she was working for, and form a new company to launch educational content like a Khan Academy. And so we provided that transition for her to get that capital. So it's kind of like a 1031, right? So instead of selling at 5, paying about 1.8 million, she lives in California, and being taxed, she exited at 5, is delaying this, kind of like an IRA, kind of like a 401k, and the funds can partner with her to buy this business, start this startup company. Also, some of it's in the stock market, diversify that, and that's pretty cool, right? So that's story number one. Story number two
Real quick on that story though. So like, is it normal capital gains tax? Is that what she was at?
37% is the number for California, depending on what state you're in. But yeah, so 20% federal, depending on what state you're in, 13.3 for state of California, and then you can even add Obamacare, like 3.8%, depending on what it is. I think hers would have been like 33%, 3.8 may just be for investment real estate, but it was millions of dollars. It was like 1.5 to 1.8 million. She's like, I'm not selling if I have to pay that,
Right.
but if you can help me exit and defer it, and we can go into this business, I'm game.
So by deferring, I mean, will she have to pay that eventually, or how does that actually? What did that actually do for her then by deferring? Is that not setting her up for something later on, or what was so significant that it made a lot of sense for her?
Yeah, the way that you can structure the trust is it's really nice in that you can live off the interest payments. You don't have to take any of the principal, right? So this 5 million that went in, we call it the golden goose that lays the golden egg. 99.9% of our clients keep that golden goose in there, and they live off these interest payments. Interest is typically about 8%. Compounding rate of return over 10 years, not a guarantee, not a promise. We got to go make the money. Most of them live off 5 or 6%. But some of them just delay that income for a few years if they already have a high income. So it's very customizable. But what happens is it's kind of like an IRA. If you put money into a 401k or an IRA, when do you pay the tax on that? Well, if and when you start taking payments from it. Well, when's that? Well, it could be when you're 60 or 70. In our scenario, most are taking some cash flow from this thing, but it just depends on what state they live in, where their income bracket is. We have clients that delay the payments for a couple of years and keep their income tax a little bit lower. So these are all like, I call it like in a Rubik's Cube, tax efficient strategy, where you're going to hand us this cube, Ellis, and it's going to be different colors on different sides, and we're going to try to help line it up as best we can using the Deferred Sales Trust to make it as tax efficient for you.
Got it. Give me another story.
Yeah, second one was from an Ethereum client. This guy worked for a top tech company. He's been there for 20 years. He's a little bit older. He's like in his mid 40s. Married, 2 kids, lives in the East Bay, commuting back and forth before COVID. Basically, he's been in the W2 corporate tech world. He's brilliant. And the same thing, he knew Bitcoin and Ethereum. He adopted it at an early adoption. And he was just dollar cost averaging. He's put an extra couple grand a month, but mainly heavy in Ethereum. And his Ethereum went from 100 grand to 6 million in basically 2017, and then crashed, right? In the 18 crash. And then it went again to 9 million here about a year ago. Then it went to 13 million. Anyways, all this ups and downs and this turmoil of the marketplace, he always wanted to exit. His wife wanted to exit sooner, right? But he didn't want to exit all of it, and they didn't want to pay the tax. So it's always been a Rubik's Cube. Like, how do we time this thing and exit well and not have to get hammered with tax? We live in California, all this. So they found us, and they've done 7.5 million with us. And so all three of those deals are done in the last 100 days. Prior to this, the Deferred Sales Trust was all just in investment real estate, saving failed 1031 exchanges, businesses, dentists, orthodontists, optometrists, car dealerships. Remember, the 1031 only works for investment real estate. It doesn't work for high-end primary homes. We did an $8.3 million deal in Palo Alto, primary home seller. We did a $7.9 million beach Airbnb house that we saved a failed 1031. We just did a dentist sale, $1.4 million in New Jersey. And so people approach us from all over the nation with these big tax liabilities, these big tax challenges right before they exit. And we basically just set up the trust, have the funds sent to the trust, kind of like sending it to a 1031, kind of like sending it to an IRA company. Right. And then from there, the magic happens because we don't have to go into like kind. We don't have to rush around. We can diversify. They can go into real estate deals with you. They can do real estate deals with themselves. They can diversify. They can relax. Right. They can be in a blue ocean instead of being in the shark infested red waters of a 1031 racing around. Right. And that's the cool part about the trust.
What's amazing about this, let's say you've done really well in crypto. I mean, crypto's not paying cash flow. I mean, it's just all equity, and if you're ready to actually maybe quit your job or start to live off that, essentially what you're saying is you're taking your equity, putting this deferred sales trust, and this is giving you, you're having to invest this though, right? Let's say you're investing now this without having to take on this massive tax liability into maybe a more cash producing asset like real estate. So that's the strategy is what I'm hearing though there, right, Brett? And that's what you're recommending. I say recommending, but that's the strategy.
That's one option. We think it's one of the best options, and we'll go through some of that. But you can stake it, right? You can take crypto and you can stake it, and you can get interest off it. And there's pretty good interest on that kind of stuff, right? The challenge with some of these staking things is it's subject to market fluctuations, or you could take margin on it or borrow against it. But guess what? If your Ethereum is at 3,000 a coin when we exit at 5 million for my client, and then it drops back down to $1,500 or $1,600, that's a 50% drop. Right. So there's a lot of flux there. So the way we strategize with our clients, and he didn't exit all 13 million with this right away, just like our other client didn't exit all 50 million that she had. We just say, let's dollar cost average out, right? Let's take some gains off the table when you feel it's a ripe time. And cryptocurrency is perfect for the deferred sales trust. Deferred sales trust is perfect for cryptocurrency because it's such high highs and lows so fast. And so if you look at it, and I actually told my client, and she's like, look, I like the deferred sales trust, but I'm a long-term believer in Bitcoin. And I said, I get that. But do you understand that we can sell high at 50 million? And at that point, at 54,000, she was at 50 million. So it's probably like 65 million at that point when it hit like 68,000. And this is the Monday morning quarterback. She could have exited all 65 million into the trust. Okay. And picture this, literally sat in the bank, did nothing. And then 45 days later, bought it back at 36,000 a coin. By partnering with the trust and purchasing it back. It's like, this is what is possible with this thing, right? It's just to sell high and buy low, which is what our parents taught us to do. It's the one thing that we hate about the 1031. We have to sell high and buy higher, typically 180 days later from now, in a very low rate, cap rate environment, very low cash flow, very competitive marketplace. So this is why this is the Netflix way of doing things and not the Blockbuster way.
Wow, got it. I like that. So yeah, I mean, that's true, right? I mean, a lot of folks sitting in crypto is like, well, I don't want to get out of my crypto. Well, you're saying, well, take the gains. And then if you want to buy back into that, right, take advantage of this next, the next run, the next phase, or diversify some of that, right, into maybe more of a cash flowing asset like real estate. And you're right, you still can stake some of this stuff. But to your point, if you want to exit out eventually and it's down much lower, you're based on timing there. So that makes a ton of sense. I guess the same thing is true like in Tesla stock. If you've had a big run in Tesla, for example, you could do the same thing. We're talking about crypto as an example, but anything really that's had what you would say $1 million gain or proceed is the idea.
Yeah. Who does the deferred sales trust work for? Anyone who has a highly appreciated asset. It could be public stock, private stock, cryptocurrency. It could be NFTs. It could be, of course, investment real estate. It could be a business, LP, LLC, C Corp. It doesn't matter what the asset is, as long as it has at least $1 million net proceeds and $1 million gain on the exit. Unless you have two assets or more that are 500 each. Some people come to us and they go, we have 40 coins that are 2 million. Can we do that? Yes, you need to get with us. We need to properly structure that via an LLC and the way we exit that. So it's a little more complex, but that is available. We only allow that for crypto because they're such quick transactions. So there are ways to kind of get some coins pulled together in a way. But understand that when you exit crypto, right? When you trade crypto for different coins, it's taxable, right? Yeah. So you've got to literally transfer the coin. We open up accounts at Kraken. It's the main one we're using right now. And to a trust, so you're not exiting the coin, you're transferring the coin, the BTC or the ETH to the Kraken account. And then from there, we're going to sell it to cash, but the trust is going to take the funds, and that's how it stays tax deferred. You're going to receive a promissory note. So yeah, this is what we do. We love it. It's a little more complex, but once you get that you're becoming a lender on the first part, and then you can become an owner with the trust, so you can get that ability to go run your own deals again, or buy crypto at low price, or partner with people on real estate. Which, to your point, Ellis, the whole point of building wealth and in real estate is it is more stable. B, it is producing cash flow, but it's producing tax efficient cash flow, right? You can depreciate real estate properties, especially larger multifamily properties that you can do in syndications with Ellis and different folks. And that creates tax-free cash flow to the extent that the depreciation offsets the cash flow. So these are all things that we teach and train people how to do. And once they understand that the top 3% of wealth in America owns commercial real estate, And Robert Kiyosaki says the number one reason to own a business is not for the cash flow, it's to go buy real estate. To get the cash flow tax-free. You want to lower your overall income tax. So we're in a tax flow game. We're not in a cash flow game anymore. Cash flow game is baby step, 1, 2, 3 Dave Ramsey kind of thing, right? We're in tax flow. This is advanced stuff that you've got to become a ninja in, and we help you to become a ninja.
I got two more questions for you, and we can rant about whatever. But one is this new? Is this been around? You've kind of become the DST guy. Like anyone I ask about DST, they're like, you're the only person they know. So like, are there other? I mean, I don't want you to tell me your competition, but my point is, how long has this been around, and why all of a sudden is this starting to kind of gain traction in your opinion? Yeah,
so the Deferred Sales Trust has been around for over 25 years, thousands of closes, billions under management, and the tax attorneys who created the structure are my business partners. And I got introduced and connected with them in 2009. This is before the Instagram, Facebook days, right? All of that other stuff that's really was popular now. And it's kind of been under the radar. In fact, it was like the way we learned about it was as a Marcus and Millichap, and my manager brought my business partner now to speak about this. And we sat there going, no, we've got this figured out. We're 1031 exchange, Marcus and Millichap brokers. We got this whole thing figured out. He's like, no, guys, that's Blockbuster. This is Netflix. It's coming. But it took a while, because it's not, you can't grasp it right away. Even when you're listening to this, you're going to have to rewind it and figure out what's going on. B, it's proprietary and it's protected, right? Meaning the tax attorneys don't want this to get out in the wrong hands or for someone to take it and steal it, right? So they protect it. We all protect it. So you have to sign NDAs. C, there's only one law firm that does this. So there's like 5,000 companies that are in the U.S. that do 1031 exchanges, and they're out there banging the drum of the 1031, which is great. If you can find a deal, it makes sense, or your asset qualifies for a 1031. But there's actually only been a few of us that are actually closing these. So there's actually thousands of professionals that have joined us. They're financial advisors, and they're offering it for their individual clients. Commercial real estate, there hasn't been as many people because real estate is like a religion, and the religion is a doctrine of 1031. Yeah, and it's true. But you're like, dude, there's another doctrine, and it's called installment sale. This is what this is. It's a seller carryback using a specialized deferred sales trust. And it's really hard to teach new dogs old tricks, right? And so they're so used to their advisors telling them these certain things. That's part of it. The other part of it is once you actually look at the case studies and look at the deals and see all this stuff, we're closing at least a deal a week now, and that it becomes real. And that's where it took a while to get momentum, I would say. And there's not a lot of people like me that are talking about it, I guess. So I guess that's the best answer I have for you, Ellis. It's too good to be true until you see it done. Yeah.
You mean like there's no one else can go start, close these deals? I'm a little there's not more of you? Is this the barrier to entry is that high? What do you mean there's only one?
Yeah, so there's only one tax law firm, right? And here's the way I would put it. There's other copycats that have tried similar things, like a thing called a monetized installment sale. You might have heard about this thing, but it's got blown up in IRS court. Before anyone, let's take another step back. If anyone approaches you with a tax deferral strategy, including us, you should ask a series of questions. Here are the questions. Number one, how long have you been doing it for? Like you're asking for, right? How many of these have been done? How many have they closed? What's under management? But the most important thing is how many IRS audits have been tested? More important than that, who defended the client on the IRS audit? And what was the outcome? So with the tax firm, with the Deferred Sales Trust, he created it 25 years ago, thousands of closes, billions under management. He's defended all of the over a dozen no-change IRS audits, okay, including 3 additional former audits. It's never been on a dirty dozen. It's never been on an IRS watch list. It goes on and on. It's literally batting 1,000. So there's that one law firm. There's these copycats that try to do similar things. But guess what, Ellis? Would you get surgery on your ACL that you just blew out playing basketball down at the local 24-hour?
Yeah, but my point, though, Brett, is why would it not, because, the fact that 1031 is popular because a lot of people can do 1031 exchanges, would it not be most beneficial to you, to the industry, if more people could, if there were more tax firms that could do deferred sales trust?
There would be, but at the same time, if you created the iPhone or the iPad in your Apple, right? Are you just sharing that with people so more people can get phones? No, you're trying to monetize that and also protect it, right? Because if they take the strategy, and by the way, that's not to say we don't work with other national law firms. They sign NDAs, they bring clients in. I had a client right now, we're closing an $8 million deal in LA. He wanted a third-party law firm, a former IRS agent, review this outside, sign the NDA. He paid a separate fee. They gave him the green light. He's moving forward. So it's not as if people haven't seen it. It's just who has the rights and the exclusivity to actually sell it, right? To actually execute it, who has the knowledge, which you'll quickly learn. It's not like just setting up an LLC. Like we're very, or a living trust. So it's very common. This takes a team of professionals. I'm one of them. I'm a third party unrelated trustee. I cannot be the tax attorney. The tax attorney can't be me. There's also a third party financial advisor. We're all separate entities necessarily to execute this. It takes us executing it in unison with one another, with the taxpayer in the middle as the person who's deferring the tax. So think of it like running a business syndication, right? You'd say we got an operator on the ground with management. We've got a person with finance in the back end. We got an investors relations person, right? We have these different people that are filling these roles to make this entity own and operate this apartment complex. Think of the same thing, but it's like the trust. It takes these parties to do their roles that are separate in order to execute and keep it all in compliance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That does make sense. I don't want to get into it too deep on this show, but I have a follow-up question next time we're together. I find what you do really fascinating. I think I told you this last time I was with you. Everyone's focused on doing real estate deals, me included, syndicating, whatever. And you're selling the pickaxe to gold miners, like we're all chasing gold and, you're selling the pickaxes. And I just think, there's a lot of me. There's very few of you is my point, right? So, but you know what I mean, in that there's a lot of people that syndicate deals and buy multifamily, very few who are selling these deferred sales trusts. So is that the entrepreneur in you? Like, did you know that? Did you see that? Did you take advantage of that? I'm curious just, man, like from an entrepreneurial standpoint, a little bit of the backstory. Do you feel like you just got lucky, or was this strategic and what you've learned and kind of looking for opportunities as an entrepreneur and really kind of, profiting from that?
Great question. I'll try to make this as succinct as I can. Like, it was through the pain and the fire of the 2008 crash, right? So literally like 2006, things are like buzzing, business is booming. Brokers, Marcus and Millichap are making, 200, 500, $1 million, $2 million in commissions. They're crushing it. And I'm that new guy sitting on the sideline like, man, can I make it in the business? I'm cold calling, I'm training, I'm learning, just getting my business going, right? And I graduate in 2007, so I can finally go full time at Marcus and Millichap. And it's like within like a few months, things start to slow down, and then things came to a crashing halt in 2008. And I found myself on my back financially and figuring out a way to, for the first time in my life, I'm failing. Like I can't provide for my family. Like I love this commercial real estate game and real estate and brokerage and trying to get these big commissions, but it's 100% commissions, no salary, no benefits. And so I did what every good entrepreneur does. And you go get a side hustle and you keep the lights on, you move in with your brother into a small condo and you start working at Cheesecake Factory or something along those lines, right? And I burned nights and weekends, 70 hours by day, cold call, negotiate with banks, help my clients, reposition their multifamily property. By night, I wear the same tie I wore at Marcus and Millichap at the Cheesecake Factory. And I grind it for 2 years. Okay. And my wife sacrificed. And during this challenge where we were going through this financial challenge, going into debt, barely making it, my clients were too. And again, what we identified was, there's this different scale. They were multi-million-dollar owners, but they were losing 20, 30, 40% or having to fight with the banks. We identified the 1031. So it was that pain of me financially going through that and their pain. And enter my business partner in 2009 talks about the Deferred Sales Trust as a solution to the pain and as a way for me to add value and solve problems for my clients in the future. And so I just became fascinated with the concept, and I was open-minded enough to just learn about it. And I didn't realize I was going to become a trustee. I just started sending them referrals. I'm just like, hey guys, you can help me win listings. You can solve this problem for my client. Probably like a lot of people right now, like they just send me referrals because I'm going to solve problems and unlock deals, right? Unlock deals for that seller who wants to sell to Ellis, is a mom and pop, but doesn't want to do a 1031 and is not going to sell because of the tax. Now you unlock that. I started to see the power of this solving the problems. And so fast forward, I started to just roll it out. My business starts to grow. And then over, let's say 5,000 or 6,000 hours later, 5 or 6 years later, they're like, Brett, you know this better than almost anybody. Would you consider becoming a trustee? And I looked around, I was like, well, tell me more about that. And they're like, well, this is what it means. This is what it's about. And I said, yes. And it's essentially all of my background prepared me for this really right now, this moment, to be able to serve people in the commercial real estate world, brokers who are looking to solve problems, now open it up to cryptocurrency folks who are looking to get into real estate. And so here I am. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
We're coming out with our book here. It's called the Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy, the
Look
Proven
at
Playbook.
that.
Right. And we have Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank on, who's going to be in like the first chapter. And you see him talk about it for his public stock. And you realize like some of the smartest people don't even know how to solve this. Right. And it's the tax flow versus cash flow, perfect storm on all the stuff that's going on with the economy, with baby boomers and wealth transfer. Like, I mean, I can't get enough of it. And you're right. I like that I'm in a niche. Right. And I like that it's not a me too. You know, I like being able to offer something that's transformational.
Brett, gosh, I want you guys to imagine this. So we're at a real estate conference, or just, I mean, as an entrepreneur, I have so much appreciation for just that pivot and that move, man, because you're in a real estate room, and everyone's talking about buying deals or selling deals or whatever, and you just got this one guy who's talking about capital gain solutions, right? And I just think it's so brilliant, man, of like, it truly is the pickaxe, the golden pickaxe analogy. And so, anyways, man, I just have a lot of appreciation for you, for your hustle, how you're serving this industry, man, and looking forward to ways to partner and help each other in the future. So, cool to see it, man.
Thanks, Ellis. Appreciate it, man. It means the world to me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to partnering with you, doing deals with you, helping people.
Dude, how do we get this book?
Yeah, so we're releasing on Amazon here in the next 30 days. Okay, so be a lookout for that.
I don't think this episode will go out for another 30 days. So why don't you email me that link before it gets out, put in the show notes.
Sure.
So guys, click the show notes and get this book. And then Brett, if hey, they want to exit, they want some tax flow or some cash flow, and they want to holler at you, man, where do they go?
You can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, and then you can also search that on YouTube as well as Facebook. And then we have our podcast, Capital Gains Tax Solutions Podcast, which I believe we had Ellis already on the show. If not, we got to get you on again. We've done about 200 episodes, so we've got a lot of cool people talking different strategies on that. And then if you're looking to level up and become one of our Inner Circle Strategic Alliances and get some coaching, we have experttaxsecrets.com. That's experttaxsecrets.com.
That's like an ongoing coaching thing you do for clients?
Yeah, I try to give you my secrets. I try to go bzzz, as much as I can download and help you close deals and funnels and webinars and coaching and all of it. So we try to create a package for that for those who want to level up.
Look at the entrepreneur just rolling, dude. I love it. There's so much I don't know about you. I'm so excited to learn. Hey, man, pumped to have you here. Thanks so much. I'm not on the show yet, guys, but I think we're scheduled. So go check that out. And maybe by the time this releases, we'll have that podcast scheduled as well. So, Brett, that's it, man. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you for having me, sir.
All right. Ciao.
Talk soon. Bye.